I am the king and will not be. I am the king and will not be. King and will not.
Hey, what is up guys, Epic Pokemon TCG here, and today guys I've got a deck profile for you, and today we're going to be covering Night March. And before we get into the video guys, if you want to cut straight to the list, it'll be down in the description below. But I just played Night March actually yesterday at my League Challenge, and I went 3-0 with it. And I really did it for the sake of this video. I did play a different list than this one, but I figured for the sake of the video I would give you guys a list that performed very well at a state championship tournament. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. And so we're going to start it off, of course, with the Night March Pokemon. Pretty simple. This is a straight to the point Night March list. And so there's not going to be any crazy surprises here. But of course we do have the 4 Night March Pokemon. Go ahead and go over them. So Lampent's pretty much in here just a Battle Compressor way. You're never going to attack with Lampent. You're never going to really do anything with Lampent. It's really in here to fuel Night March. Now, Night March, of course, for every Night Marcher you have in the discard pile, it does 20 damage, pretty much. So, you have 12 Night Marchers, so you have the potential to be doing a crap ton of damage. If you have 9 Night Marchers in the discard pile, that's 180 damage, and you guys kind of get the numbers. Now, the 2 main attackers are going to be Joltik. Now, we're Joltik and Pumpkaboo. So, we're going to go ahead and cover Joltik first here and kind of go over what is good about Joltik. Joltik takes 2 energy, a DCE, to attack with Night March. It's electric type, so it hits popular cards like Shaymin EX and Yveltal EX, and of course, well, regular Yveltal, even though regular Yveltal kind of screws his deck over just a little bit. But the cool thing about Joltik is all you need is 3 Night Marchers in the discard pile, and you can one-shot a Shaymin and take 2 prizes. So that's very cool, and you don't absolutely have to have Dimension Valley to attack. So that's a really cool way to have a backup. Of course, Pumpkaboo, a little more sturdy, but it does take 3 energy, but we do play 4 Dimension Valley in here, so that's pretty good. So you'll be able to attack with Pumpkaboo if you have a Dimension Valley. Pumpkaboo hits a lot of things for weakness, like Mewtwo. It hits Hoopa for weakness, I believe. Really, like, Hoopa, like, from the stuff I've played, like, I've played Mewtwo a lot, and I always run into freaking Night March, so that's big pain. But really, you don't absolutely have to have weakness to hit for a ton of damage. It's pretty much what this deck is really all geared around. It's just knocking the living crap out of your opponent, and you know, really all this stuff takes 1 prize. But we do play 3 Shaymin. It's in here really for the setup, and that's the Pokemon. Just 4 Joltik, 4 Pumpkaboo, 4 Lampent, and 3 Shaymin. And Shaymin's actually in here. It's really good. This is actually a very good card against Trevenant too. Being able to just Sky Return over and over, if you can keep that up, is pretty good. And it just helps you kind of set up. And if you're going against another Night March deck and you just so happen to have a Shaymin sitting there, well, you can Sky Return and knock out a Joltik, which is pretty cool. I didn't really know how to go into a lot of really in-depth detail over the Pokemon just because of the fact that it's so straight to the point and all the knowledge is already out there. So we're going to go ahead and go over the supporters. We have 3 Sycamore, 2 Lysandre, 1 Delinquent, 1 AZ, 1 Judge, 1 Xerosic, and 1 Hex Maniac. So, besides the obvious ones like these 5, really just draw power and Lysandring up stuff to take easy prizes. These are the 5 cards that kind of need a little explanation. So Hex Maniac is very good. If you open and you get like a pretty decent turn 1, you get some Night Marchers in the discard pile, and you can Hex Maniac and shut off your opponent's abilities for the turn and whatever. That's pretty good. Hex Maniac just kind of slows them down. But the main thing it is really, really good against is cards like Aegislash EX. Now, Aegislash EX, and there are other ones out there, but I'm just kind of throwing Aegislash out there because, well, it's pretty much an auto loss for this deck if you can't attack. Hex Maniac pretty much just shuts off abilities, so you can get past Aegislash's ability, which is where it really, if your Pokemon has special energy on it, you can't do anything to Aegislash. There are so many uses for Hex Maniac, it is absolutely ridiculous. Next up is Xerosic. Xerosic is in here just because it can just kind of One of the things I found it can do is you can get rid of a DCE off of a Jolteon if it's able to pull attack off or something like that. Is you can discard their DCE if they have one on there, of course. It can discard, like in Night March mirror matches, you can Xerosic off an energy off of a bench Night Marcher, and that's one DCE down. And you can get rid of like a Fighting Fury belt with this card. And there's just really a lot of things that Xerosic can do, and it's really situational. You might, like, your opponent might have to like waste a turn Mega Evolving because you Xerosic off of like a Spirit Link or something like that. It really just kind of comes into play depending on the situation and what deck you're going against. Xerosic can have so many uses, and it's just all around a really good card. Next up, Judge. This is really in here just for a disruption card, pretty much. You can knock out their main attacker that turn, Judge, and they have to shuffle their hand in and draw 4, or maybe they just Lysandred up a Shaymin and got 2 free prizes, and you can return KO again. And I mean, it's just really Judge is just in here kind of screw with your opponent, in all honesty. AZ, this is in here really to pick up Shaymin, or if you have like a Pumpkaboo sitting up there active, you can't retreat or something like that, and you don't want to burn a DCE off or something like that. It's really good. But really, it's the repetitive use of Shaymin that you can get out of AZ, so that's very good. Now the Delinquent, I guess if like you miss a turn where you don't have your Dimension Valley out, you can get rid of their Stadium and make them discard 3 cards. Or if they have a Stadium out and you need Joltik, or if they have like a Shadow Circle that you can't counteract. I don't know, there's just a lot of really weird stuff that Delinquent can do because it's such an annoying card. And really, like, if you guys have any other tips, because I honestly have no freaking idea. Unless I must have missed something completely blatantly obvious. But yeah, discarding 3 cards out of your opponent's hand, kind of making them get rid of stuff, making them get rid of resources or whatever. Really good card. But, yeah. Anyway, along with that, we have the 4 VS Seeker just to get back all these wonderful supporters and everything. Alright, so here is where really the nonsense starts coming out. Okay, so 4 Battle Compressor in here to get rid of your Night Marchers out of the deck. You can pick 3 cards from your deck and send it to the discard pile immediately. So this is in here also for the repetitive use of Night Marchers, getting supporters in the discard pile, the VS Seeker back, getting useless cards out of your deck. There's so many things that Battle Compressor can do for this deck. But the main one is, of course, getting these Night Marchers out of your deck and feeling your damage. And another thing that this can do is actually set up time, or yeah, puzzle time, which I gotta say is an extremely stupid card. Alright, so I actually had some instances in turn 1s where I opened with a Battle Compressor and 2 Puzzle of Time. Now essentially turn 1, what this means is you can Battle Compressor and get back any 2 cards that turn. So that, I don't know, that's just ridiculous. And this really opens up so many more options for this deck because it allows you to get back your DCEs, it allows you to get back your supporters, it allows you to get back your Night Marchers, your Shaymins, all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, basically, like, if you have a turn where you're down a Night Marcher and you have 2 Puzzle of Time in your hand, you can play 2, get back a Pumpkaboo or a Joltik, or you can get back a DCE, you can get a DCE Lysandre. There's just so much stuff that this card can do. Also, it has an effect too. If you just play 1, you can rearrange the top 3 cards for your deck. That is very good too, just because you can kind of figure out what you're going to get in the next turn or something like that, and just kind of rearrange some stuff. And so that's pretty good. But yeah, Puzzle of Time made this deck a lot more ridiculous just because of how many plays it opens up and how many extra options you have throughout the game now. And the fact that you're like, well, if I have to DCE, I have to get rid of a DCE or something like that, I can Puzzle Time it back potentially. And it just really makes it really stupid. Anyway. And the thing about it, is like, I was thinking about kind of putting up my list up here, but really when you think about it, a big chunk of your deck in every Night March deck is already selected because you have to have the 4 Joltik, you have to have the 4 Pumpkaboo, you have to have the 4 Lampent, the 4 Battle Compressor, the 4 Puzzle Time, and it's just like really, in all honesty, it's just like a lot of your deck is already in the list before you even start building it because you have to have 4s of specific numbers in this deck. Now, I'm not particularly saying you have to play this card. You can definitely go the Milotic route, or you can go the Bronzong route or something like that. But for this list, really, in all honesty, you're going to have a lot of your cards already selected before you even start building the deck. So that's something to keep in mind. Next up, for Ultra Ball, really in here for consistency reasons, getting Night Marchers, getting Shaymins, and things of that nature. Next up, we have 4 Trainer's Mail. Really, this is in here to kind of just search out stuff. Also, this helps out getting the Puzzle of Time too, and also helps you get your Battle Compressor. Getting Battle Compressor as early as possible is very crucial for this deck, unless you have a retarded Sycamore and you discard like 5 Night Marchers or something like that. I've actually had that happen. Playing online a little bit earlier, and I had 3 Lampent, and I top decked a Sycamore, and so that was really, yeah. Anyway, next up, one of the newer cards for this deck is Fighting Fury Belt. So, pretty much this deck really had a hard time against Baby Yveltal, just because of the fact that regular Yveltal for 1 energy could knock out both Joltik and Pumpkaboo with 1 shot, no problem. And it was the fact that you just had to pretty much knock out a Pokemon and only had one prize. And so really the trade-off there was just really difficult because you had to do an attack that cost a DCE, whereas all they had to do was just get a pretty much an attack off that just cost a Dark Energy. So what this card's going to do is not only allow you to hit a little harder, but it's going to make Pumpkaboo actually have 100 HP and Joltik have 70 HP, which is actually really good. What this card does is it gives a basic Pokemon an additional 40 HP and 10 more damage. Make sure I read that right, and I did. Okay, so it makes your Night Marchers a little more sturdy, and I've actually found that it helps out a lot. Also for Joltik, it allows Shaymin to be, or it doesn't allow Shaymin to knock it out in 1 shot, and that actually came up yesterday in my League Challenge, which is really good. So Fighting Fury Belt really helps out this deck a lot. There's only 2 in the list, and I can really see why. I feel like 2 is really all you will absolutely need, so not too bad. And then we have some one-ofs in here. This card was the MVP yesterday. I absolutely love Buddy Buddy Rescue in this deck. I can't get over how much I love this card in here, because pretty much this deck's geared towards all around getting your stuff back, recycling through cards over and over with the Puzzle of Time and Buddy Buddy Rescue. Pretty much Buddy Buddy Rescue, if you have a DCE in your hand and you don't have a Night Marcher, then pretty much all you have to do is just Buddy Buddy Rescue for a Night Marcher, or you can Buddy Buddy Rescue for a Shaymin, which is pretty good. So that's really awesome. I love Buddy Buddy Rescue. It's just an awesome card here. Next up, Escape Rope. If your opponent has like 1 Shaymin sitting on the bench, just kind of throwing out a scenario here. If your opponent just kind of sends up something, you're getting your attacks off over and over, you're knocking out stuff, so they send up something that they don't care about getting knocked out, you can Escape Rope, make them send up something off their bench, or, you know, like something that you can 1-shot, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with Escape Rope in this deck. Next up, Startling Megaphone. Kind of goes back to Fighting Fury Belt. If you have if your opponent has a Pokemon that has like 180 or 170 base HP, then they're going to kind of be up in the 200 range and stuff like that with Fighting Fury Belt, and you just really don't want to deal with that. So Startling Megaphone can definitely come into play there. Also, it just kind of gets rid of all the tools and stuff, and really just kind of hinders your opponent a little bit. If there's like some tools you just don't want your opponent to have, you can just Startling Megaphone them off. It's pretty good. Target Whistle. This is like one of the plays that makes me so mad that this deck can do, because it's actually happened to me before multiple times. Let's say you're going against a guy, he thinks he's going to be slick, Ultra Balls away his Shaymin, so that way you don't have an easy 2 prizes for later on. Well, all they have to do is Target Whistle your Shaymin, it comes back, they Lysandre it up, and knock it out. That's really annoying. That's honestly why that's in here. And it's not just Shaymin, you can do that too. There's so many other Pokemon too. If your opponent just has an EX sitting in the discard pile, and you're like, oh yeah, I can knock that out this turn, I have a Lysandre, so you can just Target Whistle it and make them have it back on the field. So it's pretty annoying. And then Floatstone, this is in here. Really, you just kind of put it on a Pumpkaboo or put it on a Shaymin. Just kind of give yourself a free retreater. And then to finish off the deck, we have 4 Dimension Valley, so that way you can always have the option to attack with Pumpkaboo. And really, in all honesty, you can keep getting this back too, because you do have Puzzle Time, which is insane. And finally, 4 DC. And that's really it. I mean, it's a very straightforward list and kind of plays itself, in all honesty. I mean, there's not really much else you do. You just kind of attack with these 2. and use Puzzle of Time to get back stuff, Battle Compressor away your Night Marchers, and yeah. I wasn't really sure to explain it because, I mean, this deck is just so straightforward. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I was actually going to play Garchomp yesterday, but my Puzzle of Time came in, so I was like, hey, you know what? We'll do that. But make sure to stay tuned for a Garchomp list this week. I plan on having like 3 deck profiles this week, so make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. But anyway, you guys are amazing. I love you, and as always, this is Epic Pokemon TCG signing out. Take care, guys.